The majority of our work here is trauma related, so we deal with providing x-rays as the casualties come in to the resus department. We also do a lot of imaging for more routine injuries, etc. The CT scanner here gives exactly the same service as you have back home in the UK. It enables us to do cross-sectional images through the patient, which provides us with a lot more information to give to the clinicians so they can see exactly what's going on inside the patient and then make an accurate diagnosis and treatment from there. We do daily what we call quality assurance on the machine, which basically just means that we're checking the machine to make sure that it's working in a consistent manner. We do this first thing in the morning, so if any patients come in through the day, we know the system's ready to go straight away. Our role here is we see the patients as they come in through the emergency department. We also may see them in theatre when they go to ITU, if they go to ITU, or onto the wards for follow-up films. So we follow the patients through the hospital, providing imaging support at those stages where necessary. Back at home, I work in breast screening, so my role here is very different. Obviously the kind of imaging that we're doing is slightly different. The military gave me training on the CT scanner so that I could operate the CT scanner when I came out here. CT isn't something that I would normally do at home in my role. Out here I'm in charge of the department, so I'm responsible for making sure that the service is there 24 hours of the day. There's two of us that are radiographers here, so we do a 1 in 2 on call, so we may be called through the night. Obviously as head of department you get to make decisions that are very important in terms of the imaging support that we provide. That's not normally a role that I would have at home. It's a very rewarding job. I don't think there's a comparison back at home in the UK in terms of professional challenge. I don't think there's anything quite like it when you consider the conditions that we work in.
Our role here in Bastion, for medical hospital, myself and my colleague, we provide a diagnostic service for the clinicians as and when we're directed. That involves taking x-rays when casualties come through the casualty reception area, which might include resus department as well as minor injuries unit. So we may be tasked with taking x-rays in the resus department, i.e. we go to the casualty, and then from there casualties can come to us if they're able to, and then from there we can potentially go into theatre as well as ITU. Many of the casualties that go straight to the wards, they'll be brought back towards us in our department here. Certainly the kit we use is far removed from what we used to use in Telic, which was a wet form processing capability, whereby the kit was static, the processing unit, and the X-ray machine, i.e. the source of radiation, which is something that was mobile. However, the new units we have is a full X-ray capability, i.e. it has the processing unit as well as the X-ray source, all in one machine that we can wheel around. So thereby, if we have to, the casualties are unable to make it to our department, we can actually wheel the machine to the casualty, which is what we do in resus. And that gives us capability of producing diagnostic images there and then for the actual clinician, so thereby we can make life-saving decisions if he needs to, and obviously direct the treatment for the casualty. So therefore the image is produced within about 5 seconds. And that, apart from the fact the image is produced within a short period of time, there's also post-processing facilities whereby we can actually alter the actual contrast of the images. We can actually zoom in on the images. If something looks sort of suspect on the actual image, we can actually home in on that particular point and sort of alter the window settings for that and try and get a better diagnostic impression for the actual image. Back in the UK, they do have direct digital kit available in some departments. However, it's more often than not it's static to a department, whereby the casualty has to come to the actual technology, if you like. I'm unfamiliar with any other sort of kit of the same calibre as what we got here, because this is mobile technology that we can actually move it around the hospital. So that's where it's slightly different to some stuff that we used to back in the UK. I think the only challenges we face over here is that we don't really know exact state of the casualty we receive. All we get is an impression from the ground. We get classed as obviously triage, how they triage the casualties. We get sort of a category of casualty coming in. Nothing can prepare you for what you face and what you see. There's no equivalent of type of casualty or trauma that we see back in the UK, so thereby each day is different and each casualty we see is slightly different from the last, and there's nothing that can really prepare for it. And the challenge thereby is obviously being able to sort of work for the best of the casualty and also the clinicians. So if you have to work around what you see and obviously try and do the best service you can.